Much, Ambassador. I give the floor to Pakistan.
Thank you, Madam President. The OIC wishes to underscore that as a religion of peace and tolerance, Islam preaches virtues of social equality, peaceful coexistence, and interfaith harmony. The Holy Quran states, and I quote, Allah Almighty created humans of a male and female and made them as tribes, families, and nations so they may know each other. The most honorable of the humans is the one who acts rightly, unquote. The anti-racism message given by our Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, 1400 years ago, resonates to this day. He had said, quote, there is no superiority of a white person over a black person and no superiority of a black person over a white person. Superiority is in acting rightly, unquote. With such clear injunctions, the OIC rejects any discrimination on the basis of race, gender, creed, color, and religion. We emphasize the need to effectively combating defamation of religion and incitement to violence manifested through denigration of revered religious personalities and symbols, destruction of mosques and places of worship, and marginalization of Muslim communities through state-sanctioned acts, policies, and laws. In particular, we strongly condemn burning of the Holy Quran in some European countries and republication of caricatures denigrating religious personalities and symbols. Premeditated acts of offending the sentiments of 1.8 billion Muslims cannot be justified on the pretext of freedom of expression or free press. While the OIC attaches great importance to the right to freely express opinion, we remain of the firm view that this right does not grant a license to hate speech, deliberate ridicule, or willful insult of other people's religion, religious personalities, and sensibilities. Article 20 of ICCPR prohibits any advocacy of national, racial, or religious hatred that constitutes incitement to discrimination, hostility, or violence. The OIC therefore calls upon relevant countries to ensure accountability of all such reprehensible acts, like the burning of the Holy Quran and denigration of religious personalities. Relevant states, Pakistan reiterates its deep concern over the resurgence of racism, xenophobia, and Islamophobia, rooted in the ideologies of exclusion and hate. Under the garb of nationalism and in order to win votes, populist parties continue to demonize minorities, migrants, and refugees in their own countries. In India, the ruling party BJP draws inspiration and cadres from its mothership organization, the RSS, that stands for racial purity of Hindus. BJP's ascent to power was fueled by a destruction of a 500-old heritage mosque. Its present leadership instigated racially inspired pogroms in Gujarat, Muzaffarnagar, Delhi, and elsewhere in India. Empowered by the electoral triumphs, the BJP last year declared stateless over 1.5 million people in Assam. Migrants were labeled as termites and confined to camps. Stirring frenzy over protecting cows, nearly 60 Muslims have been lynched to death by zealous mobs in a country which is a leading exporter of beef. Bullied by the BJP government, and compliant media in India rolls out the conveyor belt of fake news, hate messages against political opponents, minorities, and neighboring countries. In a practical affirmation of creating racial purity, the Government of India has issued 1.6 million domicile certificates to Indian nationals for residence in the occupied Jammu and Kashmir to change the demographic structure of the occupied territory. Indian government's entrenched racism against Muslims has compounded the plight of Jammu and Kashmir and converted a situation of 7 decades old illegal occupation into a full-blown human rights and humanitarian crisis. This council cannot remain a silent spectator as India drifts into a racially inspired communalism that entails death, destruction, and indignities towards minorities and human rights defenders. The Council, especially its members that place a premium on objective standards, objective criteria, and values, must close the gap between words and actions. They must shun political expediency and call out the forces of bigotry, exclusion, and racism in India as well as in Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador.